Hi dear students, in this video we are going to discuss Language and Linguistics of BA English 5th semester, Module 3 Phonetics and Phonology, where we have to study classification and description of vowels in English. In the last video we have discussed organs of speech. Those organs, they are involved in the production of speech sounds. That we learn that the air that we breathe out, that is known as pulmonic aggressive air, or otherwise it is known as expiratory air, we use to articulate all speech sounds in several languages including English. And the air that we breathe out is known as expiratory or aggressive air. The air that we breathe into our lungs is known as inspiratory air, or otherwise known as ingressive, pulmonic ingressive airstream mechanism. Inspiration is the process of breathing in and expiration is the process of breathing out. That means the air that we breathe out is the raw material for production of speech sounds. The air that we breathe out is known as pulmonic aggressive air that will be modified at the velum. This air will be used to produce all of the English speech sounds. And as well we learned in the last video the mouth organs, especially the tongue. Tongue is the active articulator for producing the speech sounds, and the second active articulator of the organs of mouth is lips. The both lips as well moves to some extent. And in this video we are going to description and classification of speech sounds in English, especially vowels and consonants, and we will classify and describe how vowels are produced in this video. For classifying vowels, we need, or there are three criteria for classifying words. One is connected with, two are connected with the tongue, and one is connected with the position of the lips. The first is connected with the tongue, that is the part of the tongue that is used for producing vowel sounds. That means we have divided the tongue into 4 or 5 parts, in which we take 3 parts. What is front part of the tongue, back part of the tongue, and central part of the tongue. There are front vowels and back vowels, and as well central vowels that is connected with the part of the tongue that is used for producing these sounds. Then second is connected with also with the tongue, that means the height to which the tongue is raised. And connected with these vowels there are closed vowels, half closed vowels, half open vowels, and open vowels. Closed vowels otherwise known as high vowels, half closed vowels are otherwise known as high mid vowels, half open vowels are otherwise known as low mid vowels, open vowels are known as low vowels. Then the third is connected with the position of the lips, that you know. The position of the lips are 2 positions are there for the lips. One is unrounding of the lips and second is rounding of the lips. That means there are unrounded vowels and as well rounded vowels in English. If we say an example, if we produce E in English, the lips are unrounded. And if we produce O in English, lips are rounded. You can produce it and as well practice it. And നാവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടാണ് 2 സംഭവങ്ങളുള്ളത്. ഒന്ന് നാവിൻ്റെ ഭാഗങ്ങൾ, ഫ്രണ്ട് ഭാഗം, ബാക്ക് ഭാഗം, അതേപോലെ മിഡിൽ ഭാഗം, അതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന വവൽസ്. രണ്ടാമത്തേത് നാവ് നമ്മൾ മൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത്, അതർ മൗത്ത് ഓർഗൻസിലേക്ക് മൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് നാവ് ഹൈറ്റിലേക്ക് പൊങ്ങുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ പൊങ്ങുന്നതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ക്ലോസ് വവൽസ് ഉണ്ട്, ഹാഫ് ക്ലോസ് വവൽസ് ഉണ്ട്, ഹാഫ് ഓപ്പൺ വവൽസ് ഉണ്ട്, ഓപ്പൺ വവൽസ് ഉണ്ട്. മൂന്നാമത്തത് നമ്മുടെ ലിപ്സ് നമ്മൾ ഉച്ചരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് റൗണ്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണോ ഉച്ചരിക്കുന്നത് അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ റൗണ്ട് ചെയ്യാതെയാണോ ഉച്ചരിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അടുത്തത് there are 3 term description of vowels are there. One is 3 term description connected with these above things. English phonemes in English. There are 26 alphabets in English. This English speech system has 44 phonemes or speech sounds in English, and these 26 alphabets are best represented by these 44 phonemes in English. 44 phonemes are divided into two. One is vowels and the other is consonants. There are 20 vowels in English and 24 consonants in English. These 20 vowels are again divided into two that we have learned in the first video: pure vowels or monophthongs and diphthongs. Pure vowels are 12 in English and diphthongs are 8 in number in English. Vowels definitions. What is the definition of the vowel? You can draw this picture as well if you want. Vowels are, during the articulation of vowels, the air escapes freely and continuously. That is most important. The air escape freely and continuously through the mouth, and that is, there is no narrowing or friction or any obstacle in the speech tract along the oral passage. And vowels are continuous and voiced sounds that we have learned. അപ്പോൾ വവൽസ് ഉച്ചരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മുടെ ലങ് എയർ വളരെ ഫ്രീ ആയിട്ടും കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആയിട്ടും നമ്മുടെ എന്താണ് മൗത്തിലൂടെ പുറത്തേക്ക് വരുന്നു. അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എയർ വരുന്ന പാസേജിൽ ഒരു തടസ്സവും ഇല്ലാതെ എയർ പുറത്തേക്ക് വരുന്നു. അതിനെയാണ് നാരോയിങ്, ഫ്രിക്ഷൻ ഓർ എനി ഒബ്സ്റ്റക്കിൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ വരുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് എയർ എസ്കേപ്സ് ഫ്രീലി. സോ അങ്ങനെ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്ന സൗണ്ടുകൾ അറിയപ്പെടുന്നതാണ് ദീസ് വവൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വവൽസ് ആർ കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആൻഡ് വോയിസ്ഡ് സൗണ്ട്സ്. All of the 20 vowels in English are voiced sounds. There are only 9 voiceless sounds in English that we have learned in the organs of speech, 9 voiceless sounds. All other sounds are voiced sounds in English. All vowels are voiced sounds in English. What is consonants there? We will discuss these consonants in the coming video. During the articulation of consonants, the air does not escape freely through the mouth. That means there will be some kind of obstacles or like narrowing, friction or anywhere in the speech tract. That means there is no narrowing anywhere along the oral passage, and so the air from the lungs escape freely in the case of vowels. That means there is no obstruction anywhere along the oral passage, and so the air from the lungs escapes continuously and the lung air escapes through the mouth. So these are the 3 steps that is connected with the definition of vowels. Tongue is the active articulator. We discussed this one. Tongue can be moved in the mouth to other speech organs, so it is active articulator. Tongue can be raised as well, and lips also can be moved to some extent. The position of the lip and the part of the tongue define and classify a vowel. What is a vowel? How a vowel is used? How a vowel is produced? For which we use 2 mouth organs. One is the position of the lips, the other is the part of the which part of the tongue is used, and to what height the tongue is raised. You can read here what is how to describe a vowel. You can see here, to describe a vowel we take to account 3 criteria. One is what is the part of the tongue used during its articulation. Second is what is the height of the tongue, that is the tongue raised towards the roof of the mouth during its articulation. What is the position of the lips during its articulation. Its here means vowels articulation. There are 3 criteria involved in the description and classification of vowels. There are front vowels, back vowels and central vowels. All of these vowels come in any of these position. And close position are there, half close position are there, and half open vowels are there, open vowels are there. Then position of the lips. According to position of the lips, there are rounded vowels and unrounded vowels in English, and we are going to describe and classify these vowels connected with these 3 criteria that we discussed. the part of the tongue that is raised. According to these may be classified into three: front vowel, back vowels and central vowels. The height to which the tongue is raised, according to these vowels, are classified into four: close, half close, half open and open vowels are there. The position of the lip, according to these vowels, are classified into two: rounded vowels and unrounded vowels. We are going to discuss these in detail. What is a vowel area? And vowel area and vowel diagram. What is a vowel area? What is a vowel diagram? Between the four extreme points in the mouth where the tongue can be moved about freely. We discussed that tongue can be moved freely in the mouth, and there are 4 points towards the tongue will be moved. We get limited area which is called the vowel area. If we join these 4 extreme points to where the tongue freely moves, that is known as the 4 extreme points. If we join these 4 extreme points, we get an area that is known as vowel area. By joining these 4 extreme points, we get a diagram which is known as vowel diagram. Nothing. And we will draw a picture here in the next slide. This area in which the tongue can move about freely is called vowel area. In the mouth, the tongue can be moved freely towards some extent. That means to 4 points. That extreme points are known as vowel area. The area in which the tongue can be moved. A vowel diagram or vowel chart. Vowel diagram is otherwise known as vowel chart. That is a schematic arrangement of the vowels. See the next slide. In this diagram can be marked the part of the tongue that is raised, i.e. the front, the back, the center of the tongue, and the height to which the tongue is raised, i.e. close vowel, half close vowel and half open and open vowels. In this vowel diagram, convenient reference points are provided for specifying tongue position. Some points are given in these four extreme points. That means in this vowel diagram, how we convey these, how we refer these points. Provided for specifying tongue position. നാവിൻ്റെ പൊസിഷൻ ഏത് രീതിയിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ശബ്ദങ്ങൾ വവൽസ് ഉച്ചരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാവുക എന്നുള്ളത് പറയുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. അത് പൊസിഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്, ടങ്ങിൻ്റെ പൊസിഷൻ കാണിക്കുന്നതിനാണ്. The position of the highest point of the arc of the tongue is considered to be the point of articulation of the vowel. അപ്പോൾ ഏറ്റവും ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യപ്പെടും, വവല് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടും. Okay, that is the highest point of the for the production of a vowel. Vertical dimension of the vowel diagram is known as a vowel height. We will see the figure. This is the vowel diagram that you have to draw a figure like this, the vowel diagram. You have to start from here. This is a slight line. Then this is an horizontal. This is vertical. This is vertical, and again this is horizontal. Then you have to make it part in. Please make it into 3 parts. First part is this. Second part is this. Third part is this. And this is like you have to draw like this as well. This is the middle position of the tongue. And this vertical position is known as the where the height of the tongue that is raised. Okay, the highest position. And tongue can be raised to from this position to this position. This is the roof of the mouth. This is the if we consider this is the tongue, this is the tongue where the tongue can be moved in the mouth, and this part of the tongue is the front of the tongue. This part of the tongue is the center or middle of the tongue. This part is the back of the tongue, and this is the close position. Considering the close position, considering the height of the tongue, this is considered as the part of the tongue. This is considered as the part of the tongue. This is considered as the height of the tongue, this vertical part. And this is the extreme point, close position. This is the half close position. This is the half open position. This is the open position. And And at the back side also, this is the open position, half open position, and half closed position and closed position. This is the this vowel diagram is drawn in the international standard, and somewhat in some text you can see in the picture in the next diagram like this as well. It is written, in which the difference is that only a middle vertical line is only here. This is also correct. If you want to draw any picture you can draw, but this is more convenient for describing and classifying vowels, so you can draw this. This is my choice. And what is a vowel limit? The point beyond which a sound ceases, that means stops. A vowel will be stopping in a position. For what? To be a vowel is called vowel limit. Or the highest point to which the tongue is raised to produce sound or vowel sound without causing friction. നമ്മൾ വവൽ സൗണ്ട് ഉച്ചരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മുടെ നാവ് ഒരു പൊസിഷനിലേക്ക് മൂവ് ചെയ്യും. ആ മൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഒരു വവൽ ആവുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ഒരു പോയിന്റിൽ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ നാവൊന്ന് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ആവും. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് സീസസ്, സ്റ്റോപ്സ്. ടു ബി എ വവൽ, ആ ഒരു നാവ് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ആവുന്ന എന്തിനാണ്? ആ എയർ പോയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് വവൽ സൗണ്ടാണ്. അങ്ങനെ വവൽ സൗണ്ടായി മാറാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നാവ് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു പൊസിഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. അതിനെയാണ് വവൽ ലിമിറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദ ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് ടു വിച്ച് ദ ടങ് ഈസ് റേസ്ഡ്. ഏറ്റവും ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് ആണ്, നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് ആണ് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ പോയിന്റ്. ആ ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റിലേക്ക് പോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് നാവ് ഈ ഹയസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റിൻ്റെയും ഏറ്റവും ലോവസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റിൻ്റെയും ഇടയിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു സ്ഥലത്ത് വെച്ച് നാവ് ഒന്ന് സ്റ്റോപ്പാകും, സീസ് ചെയ്യും. ആ സീസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ ഏരിയ, അതിനെയാണ് വവൽ ലിമിറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. And as well, the highest point to which the tongue is raised to produce a sound, that is vowel sound, without causing friction, without causing any obstacle, without causing a narrowing, without causing a friction. That is known as vowel limit. Then before we classify and describe what are vowels, we have to look what is cardinal vowels. Cardinal vowels are a set of vowels devised by Daniel Jones. Cardinal vowels are a set of 8 theoretical vowels. That is most important. A set of 8 theoretical vowels to function as reference points in the description and classification of the actual vowels of a language. അപ്പോൾ കാർഡിനൽ വവൽസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യഥാർത്ഥത്തിലുള്ള പ്രാക്ടിക്കലായ വവൽസ് അല്ല എന്നാണ് നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടത്. അത് എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഡാനിയൽ ജോൺസ് ഡിവൈസ് ചെയ്തത്? ആസ് എ റെഫറൻസ് പോയിന്റ്സ് ഓഫ് എ ആക്ച്വൽ വവൽസ് ഓഫ് എ ലാംഗ്വേജ്. അപ്പോൾ ആക്ച്വൽ വവൽസിനെ ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനും ക്ലാസിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്നതിനും ഒരു റെഫറൻസ് പോയിന്റ്സ് ആയിട്ട് കാർഡിനൽ വവൽസിനെ ഡാനിയൽ ജോൺസ് ഡിവൈസ് ചെയ്ത കുറച്ച് വവൽസിനെയാണ് കാർഡിനൽ വവൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അത് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് 8 തിയററ്റിക്കൽ വവൽസ് ആണ്. ടോട്ടൽ 18 എണ്ണം ഉണ്ട്. 18 ആർ ദർ, ബട്ട് വി യൂസ് ഓൺലി 8 തിയററ്റിക്കൽ വവൽസ്. These 8 are primary cardinal vowels. So these 8 are primary cardinal vowels. Naturally, there are secondary cardinal vowels as well. They are 10. 10 plus 8 becomes 18 cardinal vowels, but we only learn these 8 vowels. They are not real vowels of any language, but they are imaginary vowels taken as reference points of actual vowels of a language. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു ലാംഗ്വേജിലെ ആക്ച്വൽ വവൽസിനെ റെഫർ ചെയ്ത് പറയുന്നതിന്, ക്ലാസിഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്നതിനും ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനും വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഇമാജിനറി ആയിട്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കപ്പെട്ട വവൽസിനെയാണ് കാർഡിനൽ വവൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദീസ് ആർ ബേസ്ഡ് ഓൺ ഫിസിയോളജിക്കൽ. Cardinal vowels are only a set of 8 vowels. Cardinal vowels must be put it in square bracket like this that you can see here, should be put it in square bracket. The actual vowels that we are going to learn, the 20 actual vowels, we have to put it in 2 slashes that we have learned in the first chapter. And these are the figure, the diagram of cardinal vowels in English. You can see here, this in this closed position, in this front part, this is the front part of the tongue. This is the front part of the tongue where we have 4 cardinal vowels like this 4, and this is the back of the tongue. In this back side there are also 4 cardinal vowels are there, 5, 6, 7, 8. Always when we read, whenever these diagram, we have to read like this, from this closed position to half closed, then half open, then open, then again to back open, then back half open, then back half closed, then back close, like this. And this is the front, this is the center, this is the back position of the tongue. And we can define these cardinal vowels. This is front cardinal vowel number 1, that comes in closed position, that is known as E. You can see here, that is put it in square bracket. All of the 8 cardinal vowels are given in square bracket. E. Second is A. Third is Fourth is A. Okay. First cardinal vowel E comes in the front, comes as a front close vowel, front close cardinal vowel. Second comes as front half close cardinal vowel. Third is comes as front half open cardinal vowel. Fourth is A, front open cardinal vowel. What I am saying is the 3-term formula of cardinal vowels. And come here, this is the 5th vowel, that is A. Then second is O. 6th is O. 7th is O. 8th is U. You can practice along with me. E, A, O, A, O, U. 5th cardinal vowel is back vowel and it is in open position. 6th cardinal vowel is O, that is half open back vowel. 7th cardinal vowel is O, that is a back cardinal vowel and half close. And 8th is back cardinal vowel, that comes in close position. You have to draw this vowel diagram. Any of these 8 cardinal vowels are not included in the center position of the tongue. And as well, if you produce these cardinal vowel number 1 to 5 are unrounded vowels. E is unrounded. That means the position of the lip is unrounding. The position of the lip is unrounded. A unrounded, unrounded, A unrounded, A unrounded. 1 to 5 are unrounded. 6 to 8 are rounded vowels. The position of the lips are rounded. O, lips are rounding. O, lips are rounding. U, lips are rounding. That is most important. So 6th to 8th are rounded vowels. Cardinal vowel number 1 to 5 are unrounded cardinal vowels. This is the 3-term formula of cardinal vowels. You can see here, cardinal vowel number 1 E is front close unrounded. Cardinal vowel number 2 A is front half close unrounded. Cardinal vowel number 3 is front half open unrounded. Cardinal vowel number 4 A, front open unrounded vowel. Cardinal vowel number 5 A, back open unrounded cardinal vowel. Cardinal vowel number 6 O, back half open rounded vowel. Cardinal vowel number 7 O, back half close rounded vowel. Cardinal vowel number 8 U is back close rounded vowel. I told you 1 to 5 are unrounded, E, A, A, and 6 to 8 are rounded cardinal vowels, O, U. Cardinal vowel number 1 to 4 are front cardinal vowels, 5 to 8 are back cardinal vowels. The described 8 are only primary cardinal vowels. When we reverse the lip position, we get another set of 10 cardinal vowels are called secondary cardinal vowels. They are not so important, so we are not learning here. That means secondary cardinal vowels are when we reverse the lip position, we get another set of 10 cardinal vowels. They are known as secondary cardinal vowels. They are not so important. If we define pure vowels, we have already defined what is a vowel or definition of vowels in English. If we define what is a pure vowel or what are pure vowels or monophthongs, pure vowels or monophthongs do not change their vowel quality when they are produced. Here also the air escapes freely through the mouth, continuously through the mouth, but when we produce these sounds, there is no change in the vowel quality. So they are called monophthongs. Pure vowels will be only one or mono vowel. There is no influence of any other vowel in pure vowels. The tongue assumes only one position and moves towards the assumed position only. But in the case of diphthongs, there is vowel quality changing. There will be vowel quality. That means when we produce diphthongs, vowel quality will be changed and the tongue will assume one position and the tongue will go to another position. That is what diphthongs we will discuss in diphthongs. But in the case of pure vowels, there is no change in the vowel quality and the tongue assumes only one position and it moves towards the assumed position only. Pure vowels are 12 in English. See this diagram, how these pure vowels are shown or structured in the vowel chart or vowel diagram. And you can see here, this is the E, this is a clause near, it comes near the clause, and you have to give here a dot here, then put it in 2 slashes these vowels, and here is E. This is a front vowel. These 4 vowels are front vowels. E, A, A. These vowels are front vowels. This is almost near close position, and this comes E between 2 slashes, and it comes in between close and half close. We will describe it in the coming video. Next is A, that is below the half close position and above the half open position, and next is A as in man. Okay, likewise. Then this comes below the half open position, and these 3 vowels, these vowels are front vowels. These vowels are center vowels. These 3 vowels are center vowels. We will come to later, and we have to go to here. The 5th vowel is A. Then next is O. Next vowel is O, half open or just below the half open, likewise. Next is O, then U, next is U, then as in girl, then then A. Is in girl, as in father, then A as in up. These are the 12 pure vowels in English. This is the diagram for these 12 pure vowels. You can draw as like this as well. This is the clear picture that is taken from the text. You can see here, as I told you, this is the picture of monophthongs or pure vowels. You can see here as shown in the back picture. Then we are going to describe the 3-term formula of vowels in English. What is the 3-term formula? That we have already seen here: front, back, unrounded or rounded vowels. Likewise, RP vowel number 1, that is E as in feel. For the production of E, what happens in the mouth? The front of the tongue is raised to the close position. So E is a front vowel. The position very close to the roof of the mouth. The tongue is at tense. The lips are spread. That means lips are unrounded. That is what spread. This is a long vowel, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonants. The three-term formula of vowel E is front, close, unrounded. So this box, the terms given in the box will be the three-term formula: front, close, unrounded. And this occurs in all positions, that is initial വാക്കുകളിൽ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് വാക്കുകളിൽ ഈ വവൽ ആദ്യത്തിൽ വരാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്. ആസ് ഇൻ ഈസ്റ്റ്, in east you can see in the first initial position, and it comes in middle position in English words. As in beat, you can see, if you transcribe these words you can see as in beat, E comes in second position. And as well in final, as in tree, E as in final word. So this is the vowels, that is the first RP vowel number, and this is comparatively a long vowel, that is E. Okay, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonant sounds. As you can see here, I have given one example. In bead, E is longer than E in beat. What is the voiceless consonants? T is a voiceless consonant. You know the 9 voiceless consonants in English. If this sound comes before the 9 voiceless sounds in English or voiceless consonants in English, the sound will be somewhat reduced. It is not a long vowel there only before the voiceless sounds in English. So this is a long vowel in bead, but it is not a long vowel in beat. Okay, bead, beat. The length is reduced before voiceless consonants, that is T here. The second RP vowel number 2 is as in bring, E as in bring. The front of the tongue is raised to a position between close and half close. So this is a between half close and half close position. The lips are loosely spread and the tongue is at lax. That means tongue is unrounded. This is a short vowel. This is not a long vowel. This is a short vowel, E. The three-term formula is front, between, close and half close, unrounded vowel. That is known as three-term formula. This vowel occurs in all positions. That means it comes in initially, it comes in middle position, it comes in word final as well. As in it, as in bit, as in sit. In it, it is in initial position. As in bit, it is in second position, middle position. As in city, E is in final position, word final. RP vowel number 3, that is A as in red. The front of the tongue is raised to a position between half close and half open position. You have to by heart and draw that diagram, vowel diagram. The lips are loosely spread. A is a front vowel. It goes to the position of front part. Between half close and half open, and the lips are unrounded. That is the three-term formula of vowel A in English RP. This vowel does not occur finally in English words. If you find a dictionary, you cannot find this vowel. A comes in the final word, but it comes only in initial and as well in the middle position. As in egg, it is in second position. As in bud, as in egg, it is in initial position. As in bud, it is in second position, middle position. RP vowel number 4, A as in man. The front of the tongue is raised to a point just below half open position. The front of the tongue is the part that is used for producing this sound. And the lips are neutral, that means lips are unrounded. A is a front vowel, below half open and unrounded vowel. This vowel does not occur finally in English words as in the case of just before. It comes in apple. A is used in the initial position, as in man. This comes in the middle position. You have to transcribe these words as well. RP vowel number 5. A as in hut. This is a central vowel, half open, between half open and open position. The lips are neutral. This vowel does not occur finally in English. A is a central, between half open and open, unrounded vowel. That is the three-term formula. Example, as in up. Up, it comes in the initial position, but in much, it comes in middle position, but in trouble, it comes in middle position. Likewise, this is the RP vowel number 6, that is A, as in car. A is a back open unrounded vowel. This is a long vowel, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonants. It occurs in all positions in English. This vowel A is a back open unrounded vowel. The back of the tongue goes to the position of hard palate, and as well the tongue is open and lips are unrounded. A comes in all positions in English. In army, it comes in initial position, arm, arc, art, ask initially. But in bar, barb, barge, bark, it comes in medially. Car, bar, tar, ma, that comes in finally. In these words, the words in which a sound occurs finally, car, ba, ta, ma, the final sound r is silent there, so it ends in a in English sounds. RP vowel number 7 is O as in coat. The back of the tongue is at a position between open and half open position. The lips are rounded. O is a back between open and half open, rounded vowel. That is the three-term formula. This vowel does not occur finally in English words. In opera, it comes in initial position. Example, in vote, that comes in medially, vote. In log, it comes medially. In cloak, it comes in medially. The vowel number, RP vowel number 8 as in O, as in door, the back of the tongue is raised to a position between half open and half closed position. The lips are rounded, so this is a rounded vowel. This is a long vowel comparatively O, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonants. O is a back between half open and half closed, rounded vowel. This vowel occurs in all position. In order comes initially, in horse it is medially, in low it is in final. You please find more words and transcribe here. Initially, medially and finally. Those words, this O comes in English vocabulary. RP vowel number 9 is U as in book. The back of the tongue is raised to a position between half close and close position. The lips are rounded and the tongue is at lax, and U doesn't occur at the beginning of English words. Finally, it occurs only in the weak form of tu, that is before a vowel sound. Tu will be pronounced as tu when it comes before a vowel sounds in English, as in the example to earn. In food, it comes medially. In cook, it comes in medially. To earn, to earn. That means to earn. After to, it is a earn is a vowel sound. So when it comes in to before a vowel, that is occurs only in finally. That means finally it occurs only in the weak form of to, not to. That is before vowel sounds. The happy vowel number 10 is oo, as in room, as in food. The back of the tongue is raised to the close position. The lips are rounded. The tongue is tense. It is a long vowel, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonants. If a voiceless consonant comes after this oo vowel, the length will be somewhat reduced. It is not a long vowel as we discussed here. Oo is a back, close, rounded vowel. This vowel occurs in all positions: oos, fool, clue. The happy vowel number 11, that is as in girl. Is a central between half closed and half open, round, unrounded vowel. Lips are unrounded. This is a long vowel, but the length is reduced before voiceless consonants and occurs in all positions: urge, earn, earn. Likewise, initially, burn, turn, curve, curse, medially, blur, sir, finally. Happy vowel number 12, last and final pure vowel, as in the second syllable of father, It is a central vowel with neutral lip position. The tongue rising in British English is between half open and half closed position. This is the weakest vowel in English. This is the only weakest vowel in English. It never occurs in stressed positions. This central weak vowel is sometimes called schwa. It is sometimes called schwa. If you are asked to write what is schwa, you have to answer this answer. This is the 12th vowel is known as schwa. This is a central vowel between half open and half closed, unrounded vowel. See the examples above, in which comes in the initial position, but in doctor it comes in the final position. Is silent and ends in a sound. Then we are moving to description and classification of diphthongs in English. We already discussed the 12 pure vowels in English. Then we are going to discuss the 8 diphthongs in English. Description and classification of diphthongs in English. What is a diphthong? Being diphthongs are vowels, the air escapes freely through the mouth, as we already discussed. Diphthongs are vowel glides. That is most important. Vowel glides. There will be change in the vowel quality, but in the case of pure vowels, there is no change in the vowel quality, but diphthongs changes its vowel quality. Diphthongs are combination of two pure vowels or two vowels that we can say. So vowel quality changes. The tongue assumes the position for a particular vowel and it glides towards the position of another vowel. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നാവ് ഒരു പൊസിഷൻ ഓഫ് എ വവൽ അസ്യൂം ചെയ്യുകയും ആ പൊസിഷൻ അസ്യൂം ചെയ്ത പൊസിഷനിലേക്ക് തെന്നുകയും പോവുകയും പിന്നീട് അവിടുന്ന് തെന്നി മാറി മറ്റൊരു വവലിലേക്ക് പോവുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. അങ്ങനെയാണ് assumes one position and goes to another. So it changes vowel quality. There are 8 diphthongs in English. There was also a triphthong at the time of Daniel Jones. We will discuss. A triphthong is the combination of a diphthong and the weak vowel that is the vowel that is schwa that we discussed. The 12th pure vowel is the weak vowel that is as in father. So a diphthong plus the weak vowel schwa is known as combination of these two is known as a diphthong.
In the following example, I plus A and A plus A becomes a diphthong.
As an example, trial, you can see here these a diphthong I and the combination weak vowel a comes in a word. So that is a diphthong that was considered at the time of Daniel Jones. As in prayer, a is a diphthong. It was considered as a diphthong because it is the combination of the diphthong a and the weak vowel schwa but now they are treated as two syllables, not as a diphthong. It was only considered as a diphthong at the time of Daniel Jones' time. There are 8 diphthongs in English. They may be labeled into 3 groups considering their second element. That means second element means the ending of the vowel. Second assumed position ennum venengi namukku parayam. We discussed that tongue assumes one position and moves from that assumed position to another position. The another position is the second element in the diphthong. That means there as follow. E ending vowel diphthongs are there. E ending diphthongs are 3 in English. Then U ending diphthongs are 2 in English. And ending diphthongs are 3 in English. Likewise 8 in English. That means I, A, Oi are E ending closing diphthongs. They are known as closing diphthongs. What is closing diphthongs? What is centering diphthongs? We will discuss at the end of this video. I, A, Oi are E ending diphthongs. O and Au are U ending diphthongs. There are 2 in English. E, U are known as ending centering diphthongs in English. This is the second element of these diphthongs are like this E, U, E. So considering the second element of these diphthongs, we can divide these diphthongs into 3 groups: E ending diphthongs, U ending diphthongs, E ending diphthongs. There are 3 vowel diagrams for these diphthongs for this labeled group. That means we discussed E ending diagram is this one, E ending. These vowels goes to the E ending position, A, then I, then Oi. This is the diagram number 1. Okay, we can go to the 3-term formula of these vowels, these diphthongs. RP diphthong 1, A as in gain. In the production of A, the glide, I told you vowel glides or tongue glides or moves, is from a point below the front half closed position towards the position of E. That means E is the second element in this diphthong. The lips change from a neutral position to a loosely spread position. So unrounded diphthong is this. This is the unrounded diphthong. A as in glide or a vowel glide or a diphthong glide from front half close to a centralized front unrounded vowel just above half close, which is the unrounded front vowel, that is E. So this is the 3-term formula. As in gate, as in male, as in chain, as in right. This vowel occurs in all position. You can see here as in age initial, as in gate middle position, as in day final position.
Find a dictionary and transcribe these words into phonemic transcription.
RP diphthong number 2. For the production of this diphthong, the glide begins from a front open position and moves towards the RPE as we discussed. I is a glide from a front open position to a centralized front unrounded vowel just above half closed position. This diphthong occurs in all position in English, as in I initial, idea initial, but as in height it is middle position, bright middle position, sky, final position. You have to transcribe these words into English consulting a good Oxford dictionary or Cambridge dictionary. Diphthong number 3, oi. The glide for this diphthong begins near the back half open position and moves in the direction of E. Oi is a glide from back half open position to front just above half closed position. This diphthongs occurs in all positions in English words. In oil, you can see here in initial position. Ointment, you can see in initial position. But in boil, it is in middle position. Void, voice, middle position. But in boy, koi, joy, final position. Diphthongs vowel diagram 2. We discussed the first labeled group E ending. The second labeled group is U ending vowels. There are two in English. One is O, the other is OW. You can see here the diagram that the beginning of this, the tongue assumes one position and then it goes to U position. Both vowels are going to U position. This is the vowel diagram 2 diphthongs. Vowel diagram 2, you have to draw here. You have to draw this vowel diagram. Diphthong vowel number 4, we are continuing it. 4 and 5 are these vowel diagrams. The glide from this diphthong begins at a central position between
half close and half open
and moves in the direction of RP U. U is a pure vowel that we have discussed. The lips are neutral in the beginning but are rounded towards the end. O is a glide from central position moving towards U. The lips are neutral at the beginning but are rounded at the end. O as in go, as in home, likewise. This diphthong occurs in all positions in English words, as in open, as in opal, initial, but in close and home, middle position, but in go, low, in final position. Diphthong vowel number 5, the second group, last diphthong. The glide for these ow, the glide for this diphthong begins between the front and back open positions and proceeds in the direction of U that we already discussed. The lips are neutral in the beginning but are rounded towards the end because U is a rounded vowel. Ow is a glide from the back open position and to the closed position. The lips are neutral in the beginning and rounded towards the end. Example: round, owl, crowd, brown, crown, trousers, etc. This diphthong occurs in all position in owl, out, initial, crowd, ground, middle, how, cow, final position. Diphthong vowel diagram 3. This third diagram, vowel glide goes to a position. That means a in English pure vowels. First is ear, second is a, third is u. You can see here like this. This is the third diphthong vowel diagram you have to draw. Here we discussed the last 3 vowels or diphthongs in English. Diphthong vowel number 6, ear. The glide for ear begins with RPE and moves towards the central vowel a. The lips are neutral. That means lips are unrounded. Here, clear, near, tear. This diphthong occurs in all position English. In ear, initial, but in cleared, beard, middle, cheer, here, near, final position. RP diphthong number 7. O. The glide for this diphthong begins at a position between half closed and half open and moves in the direction of RP in English. The lips are neutral, means unrounded. In air, the, chair, dire, likewise. This diphthong occurs in all positions in English in air, initial, dire, chairman, middle position, chair, fair, hair, final position. Diphthong vowel number 8, u. The glide for u begins from a position between close and half close and moves in the direction of RP. The lips are neutral. Poor, tour, cure, door, likewise. This diphthong does not initially occurs in English words. So in fuel, fuel. Gruel, middle position comes. In lure, poor, tour, cure, that comes in final position. So this is the last and final diphthong in English. You have to draw all of these vowel diagrams in English and vowel chart in English, and we have so far discussed all of these vowel diagrams and the 20 vowels in English as well.
Then we are going to discuss centering, falling and closing diphthongs.
What is closing diphthongs? The glide for the first two labels are closing diphthongs. Why they are known as closing diphthongs? Because the glide, the vowel glide or the tongue glides for 5 diphthongs is towards the close position. Close position, the first two groups goes to the position of close position, so they are known as closing diphthongs. They are a, I, oi, e ending vowels, then u ending 2 vowels, o and ow. So e and u are close position, they comes in close position. These are called closing diphthongs. See the diphthong vowel diagram 1 and 2. Then what is a centering diphthongs or centering diphthongs? Centering diphthongs are 3 diphthongs in British English for which the glide is towards the weak central vowel a. That means the glide for these vowels are the central weak vowel shua, that is a. They are ear, u. These are called centering diphthongs. The second element of these diphthongs comes in the center position, that is a. So these are known as centering diphthongs in English. Diphthongs and semivowels. Both diphthongs and semivowels are glides. For a diphthong, the glide is from one vowel position to another vowel position, whereas for a semivowel, the glide is from a vowel position to a consonant position. That is the difference between what is a semivowel. Semivowel, that means that semivowel, there is semivowel, glide is from a vowel position to a consonant position. If a vowel goes from a vowel position to a consonant position, known as semivowels in English. What is falling diphthongs? When a diphthong is long, it is the first element that is lengthened. That means if a diphthong is long vowel, it is the first element that is lengthened. First element will be lengthened. The second element in the diphthong is very short. That means the final element is very short. Such diphthongs are called falling diphthongs. Thus, if the second element is very short, such diphthongs are called falling diphthongs. That means generally first element of a diphthong is more prominent than the second element. But such diphthongs are called falling diphthongs. In this sense, all diphthongs are falling, but 2 diphthongs, ear, u, are sometimes rising as the second element in them slightly prominent in unaccented syllables. But in these two vowels, if they comes in unaccented syllables, the second element will be given some importance. In really, is given. That means comes as a rising position. As in P's, comes in as in the second element is given somewhat importance. So influence, valuable, likewise. So these are known as falling diphthongs in English. What are vocoids and contoids? K.L. Pike, the linguist who used these terms. Vocoids are vowel-like sounds and contoids are consonant-like sounds. K.L. Pike uses these terms vocoids and contoids for the phonetic types and vowels and consonants for linguistic types. He used it in this way because the term vowel and consonant have been in use for many centuries to both a phonetic investigation and a linguistic analysis. So he wanted to make a difference between these vowels and consonants and vocoids and contoids. If you want to read more about vocoids and contoid, you can read here and understand very well. So we have completed what about this vowel system in English. In the next video, we will discuss the description and classification of the 24 consonants in English. If you don't have subscribed this channel, you please subscribe the channel. If the video is very helpful for you, please share, subscribe and like the video. If you have any doubt regarding this discussed area, you can ask in the comment box.
Thank you for watching this lesson.